Joining me now, we welcome back Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin, who, at least in some polls, has taken a nice little lead out there in his tough race. Anyway, welcome back, Senator Johnson. Now, sir, I don't think President Biden really agrees with me about checks and balances. Among other reasons, he apparently lives in an alternate universe on inflation. Please listen for yourself.
Well, let's put this in perspective. Inflation rate month to month was just an inch. Hardly at all.
You're not arguing that 8.3 is good news.
No, I'm not saying it's good news, but it was 8.2 or 8.2 before. I mean, it's not, maybe I can make it sound like all of a sudden, my God, it went to 8.2%.
Yeah, well, so, Senator, I thought you might have a thought on that. Things like natural gas prices, electricity prices, grocery prices, services prices. It seems like all these prices are going up, even while gasoline prices have gone down. The index is still rising. What you think? What is about this alternate inflation universe that Mr. Biden is living in?
Well, Larry, first of all, it's good to be with you. What I try and point out to people is that a dollar that you held at the start of the Biden administration is now worth only 88.3 cents. So Biden's inflation is crushing every American. It is a Democrat tax on the middle class, but in particular seniors. I mean, think if you were a senior lucky enough to hold $100,000 in a retirement account at the start of the Biden administration, it's now worth only $88,300. It's like the federal government stole $12,000 out of your savings account, and that's exactly what they did because of their exorbitant and out-of-control deficit spending, $30.8 trillion in debt. And like you say, they have no intention of stopping. They must be stopped.
Don't you think, sir, I mean, far be it from me to tell you, you've been a successful candidate and you're going to do it again, I'm sure. But don't you think this checks and balance argument is a good argument? It's like three Democratic houses. It's like the left versus the far left. The libs have become even more liberal, et cetera, et cetera. Almost nothing's gone right. I mean, just by itself, regardless of one's political registration and that sort of thing, wouldn't it be wise for the GOP to just talk about the need for checks and balances and stop this crowd from running away with the country?
Well, yeah, Larry, I think in all my speeches, I go through the list of horribles. Again, the open borders, the deadly drugs, the record or 40-year high inflation, record gasoline prices, rising crime, the indoctrination of our children. And then I conclude that with saying, they must be stopped. We have to stop these folks because they are destroying this country. Remember, they all wanted to fundamentally transform it, right? Their leaders did. I always ask my audiences, do you even like, much less love, something you want to fundamentally transform? And now we're seeing what that fundamental transformation looks like. It's fundamentally destroying this country. So, no, they have to be stopped.
Let me switch gears a little bit. I want to go to this illegal immigration business and the Texas Governor Abbott and Florida Governor DeSantis sending folks, illegals, up to various cities, including Martha's Vineyard, which caused a complete freak out up there. All those humanitarian liberals, diversity liberals, didn't seem to like that very much. So now I'm told Democrats want to sue somehow Governor Abbott and Governor DeSantis and maybe others for doing this. Here's my question. Haven't we seen all year that the Biden administration itself has been flying illegals to various cities in the dead of night? And therefore, if there's any lawsuits coming, why aren't they getting sued?
Now, Larry, first of all, it's been about 3 million people who have either been encountered, processed, and dispersed or entered this country illegally as either a known or unknown getaway that have come to this country since the start of the Biden administration. 3 million people. The last 4 or 5 months, it's been over 7,000 people per day. And so now you've got these Democrat mayors in these Democrat jurisdictions, and now Martha's Vineyard, they're freaking out when they get a busload full. I mean, think of what the governors, think of what those communities alongside the, next to the southwest border having been dealing with on a daily basis, more than 7,000 people. I appreciate the fact that Governor Abbott, Governor DeSantis are highlighting the insanity and the destructive nature of President Biden's open border policy. It was sad, somewhat humorous when you had Vice President Harris go down to Central America searching for the root cause. All she had to do was walk in the Oval Office and realize it's President Biden, Democrat policy and governance, that it's the root cause of not only the open border, but all the pain being experienced by Americans because of Democrat governance.
Yeah, I mean, there's a story in the paper today about how the town of El Paso, Texas, has been completely destroyed. And you have over 1,000 illegals are now living on the streets. They keep pouring in, but the last 1,000, just in the last week, living on the streets as homeless, nobody can take care of them. And of course, in some of these Texas towns, as I'm sure you know, and I spend a moment on this because I think it's important backdrop or context for this whole issue. The number of illegals is greater than the population of the town. And so what is the town supposed to do? So now DeSantis sends 50 illegals up to Martha's Vineyard, which has 17,000 people. It's a drop in the bucket. And they couldn't wait to call in the National Guard to get rid of them. In other words, the hypocrisy of this, apart from the awful consequences of fentanyl and drugs, the mere hypocrisy of this strikes me as quite remarkable.
Well, I would say also the complicity and corruption of the media trying to cover this all up. But again, Larry, 3 million people since the start of the Biden administration. That's a number larger than the population of 17 states. And they've been transferred, and dispersed all throughout America, oftentimes in the dead of night. We don't know where they went to. We have no idea. But again, I appreciate that Governor Abbott, Governor DeSantis is sending these to Democrat jurisdictions so we can highlight this problem, because the mainstream media is not doing so.
I mean, in a pinch, we could go back to successful policies in the prior Trump administration and just close the border. I mean, I don't know if that occurs to anybody in power in Washington today. Last one, I want to ask you about a story this morning. You and Senator Cornyn and a whole bunch of people, you would like to turn the U.S. Attorney in Delaware, Mr. Weiss, from a U.S. Attorney prosecutor into a special counsel. I see that your hue and cry is actually spreading. It's getting a lot of favorable press. Can you tell us about that? You've been hot on the story, the Hunter Biden laptop, tax evasion, lack of foreign lobbying registration, and so forth and so on. Is there a chance that the Justice Department might actually do this, or is this just something that's got to wait until you take back the White House?
Well, maybe with enough public pressure, but certainly what we've witnessed now over the months since the start of the Biden administration, they've completely politicized the Department of Justice, and I would say the FBI as well. We're seeing the kind of corruption. We have, fortunately, whistleblowers coming forward that want to restore credibility and integrity to the agencies. And so now we know that the FBI had a scheme in August of 2020 to downplay the derogatory information against Hunter Biden. The FBI was sitting on that computer since December 2019. They were told not to look at that computer. So there's partisan activity going on in these agencies, and I think a special counsel, I'm not real nuts about them, but in this case I think one is definitely warranted. And I think so many of my colleagues have just seen the politicization of these agencies. We need to restore the credibility to them. We need more whistleblowers coming forward, by the way. We can afford them protection, but this would be one step in the right direction.
Last 30 seconds, Senator Johnson. How's the race going? As I said at the top, some polls are now showing you've taken the lead. How's the race going in your judgment?
Well, again, it's truth on my side versus lies and distortion on theirs. They've spent over $70 million against me already, Larry. Plus, the mainstream media is trying to take me out. So Ron Johnson for Senate.com. I'm going to need money to help counter all the lies and distortions. Ron Johnson for Senate.com.
Thank you, sir. I'm sure we will see you before the election. We appreciate it.